Well, good morning, Athena Baptist Church. I wanted to kind of give an update. It's been a while since I've given an update on things and maybe bring some clarification to a couple of the announcements that we made on Sunday. As you know, preparations are being made in Oregon for phasing out or rolling out phases of a plan to be able to open things back up socially and economically. And I wanted to just get an update out to you on what's coming next, what we know, what we don't know, what we're guessing at, and then just a couple of things that we've been thinking and talking about, and hopefully to get you thinking and talking, and particularly praying. So first, as far as just meeting together again, as you know, we made an announcement about that on Sunday, and we're beginning to roll out a phased plan as a church as well. Our phases are going to match Oregon's. So our phase one will be Oregon's phase one and two and three. So here's what we know. Phase one has already begun. It began last Friday, the 15th. We just didn't have time to make preparations to roll out phase one for that Sunday. So this coming Sunday, which will be the 24th, I believe, we will start phase one. We will be having services in person on Sunday mornings, and I could not be more excited for that. I think it's great that we get to meet back together again and have people in the room. We're going to move the video camera back to the back of the wall, so it's not in the middle of the room anymore. That way we don't kick it over or trip on it or something like that. But we'll be allowed to have up to 25 people in the sanctuary and have a normal service on Sunday. We are getting new internet installed at the church today through our current internet provider, but that will allow us much greater internet speeds so that we can then um, stream live on Sunday mornings the service. So we will still continue to send out a digital bulletin. We will continue to send out a link in that digital bulletin to a live service that will be streamed to YouTube on Sunday morning. So look for that if you're still a little uncomfortable with getting out and being around people. Um, so we're going to start with 25 people, and we're going to assume that these are more of the healthy people, healthy members of the church who are still kind of willing to get out and about a little bit. And so for those of you who are medically in a place where this is, a little bit more of a concern for you than for others, we want to live stream the service to you. We're anticipating that to be 2 to 3 weeks, because once we go to phase two, if Umatilla County really does go to phase two as quickly as is possible, which was 3 weeks from when we went into phase one, then we might roll out some details. But here's the thing. Oregon is not really explaining or giving any details about what phase two is. They're just saying that they're going to collect data for phase one and then make plans for phase two accordingly. And so the truth of the matter is we don't really know what phase two looks like, and we can't give any details. But we're going to make some guesses. We're thinking, based upon the information that we can gather, that we are likely to have up to about 25 or up to 50 people, that will move from 25 to 50 people. But I also think that it is likely that social distancing will be in effect. And so here's a few things about phase two that this is a guess. This is my best guess. That's the way I want to say this. When we're allowed to go to phase two, we're going to do several things. We're going to be allowed to have up to 50 people on Sunday mornings, which means the vast majority of us could gather. But we're going to do a couple things. Number one, what we're going to do is we're going to take the back door from the playground, and we're going to turn that into an entrance specifically for those who are worried about their health. And so we'll have somebody at that door who will be able to open the door for you. You'll be able to come in that back entrance. and then through the little storage room next to the baptistry, and then out into the sanctuary by the organ. And we'll have a section of seating out there in the front, that's kind of marked off and separated, that is just for those who are worried about medically getting the coronavirus, COVID-19. And that will give you an opportunity to come in without touching doors and without interacting with a whole bunch of people other than to see them from across the room, wave, say hi, to sit at a distance. We definitely want to keep our distance. I would recommend that families maintain 3 chairs between the closest people and 2 rows apart. So we'll kind of keep things separated that way. At this point, we'll start having communion again. And what we'll do is we'll do the same thing we've normally done. We'll put the bread and the juice in 2 cups, and then we'll stack those up together. But we're going to come up with a way. I'm not exactly sure the details yet of getting those to you without passing plates, so that nobody has to get near to you or pass a plate that we're touching over and over again. So we'll probably use gloves to fill those, and then maybe once we know where people are going to be sitting, load some communion supplies into the chairs in front of you, and then that way we can make sure that it's as sterile as possible, but be able to enjoy communion again. This is when I'm hopeful at this phase that we can get the CB Northwest to come and deliver to us the results of the church assessment. I think we're about ready for that. I know they're ready for that, but if we can coordinate with them, and if the timing is right with the counties and how many people we're allowed to have, I'm hoping that the CB Northwest will come at this time and deliver to us their results of the survey uh, at a meeting, a members meeting after the service one day. So that could happen as soon as 2 to 3 weeks from now. I think it's possible it may get stretched out a little longer than that, and that would be okay. Whenever Oregon goes to phase 2, we'll go to phase 2, and our plans are likely to change as they tell us what we are allowed to do and not allowed to do as well. And then phase 3 is when things return back to normal, and at that point, all ministries will resume. We should definitely have a meal together at that point. That would be really wonderful to be able to do. But that is probably not going to be happening until this fall. They're talking about possibly fall for that. So it could be end of summer, beginning of fall, towards when school goes back. So I don't really know. And then lastly, the last thing I wanted you to know is just that the council has been talking a lot about what does Athena Baptist Church look like post quarantine. What changes for us? And we think that there's some things that should change. We don't know exactly what it is that needs to change, but we don't even really know specifically in any way yet. But we're having that question. It's not very common that the church gets kind of a complete reset to evaluate its ministries, to phase things back together slowly. And there's some things we would like to do. We've been talking about doing. We're really asking the question, how can we as a church have a greater impact in our community, uh, specifically for the gospel, but also in just a community sense. We want to serve the community and share the gospel. Both of those things are important, and we think that the gospel demands both things of us, but we don't want to confuse the two. And so there's a sense in which serving the community might give us an opportunity to share the gospel, but serving the community is not the same thing as sharing the gospel. And so we really want to be able to do both. And really, that's really on each individual member of Athena Baptist Church. We can't really program that very well. I think most of us probably know the days of planning a program and having people come to church are kind of over. The if you build it, they will come mentality doesn't really work anymore. Now, I will say what does work. I think the mentality of if you invite them, they will come. I think we could do a lot better at just inviting people to come to church. Hey, why don't you join me at church on Sunday and I'll take you to lunch afterwards? Then if they don't come, invite them again and insist and don't take no for an answer. Tell them, all right, I'm going to come pick you up on Sunday, and then show up at their house on Sunday morning. Now you can't force them to go, and that's understandable. But I don't think we can just plan a program and think people are going to come. I certainly do think we can invite people, bring people along with us, and they might come to church with us. I think a lot of people are asking good questions right now. So I hit the 10-minute mark, and so I'm going to be done here, but that's kind of how we're rolling things out and the plans we're going with. Feel free to contact the church if you have any questions for us, if we can serve you in any way, if we can pray for you in any way, if you just need something picked up from the grocery store and you don't feel safe to get out. Whatever we can do, you let us know. We're praying for you. We love you. God bless.